Hey, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show. Thanks for tuning in to The Mike Wagner Show on Anchor FM. If you're interested in sponsoring my show, you can send me an email to themikewagnershow@gmail.com, or you could also donate to the podcast. Just go to the Donate Listen site, and you can also donate whatever you like. Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. For those who are interested, Anchor can give you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. We got creation tools, allows you to record and edit podcasts so it sounds great, and they'll distribute the podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere. Spotify, Apple, Google, many more. And you can make money from the podcast with no minimum listenership. So download the Anchor app for free or go to Anchor FM to get started.
It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all you need. Looking at a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention The Mike Wagner Show, get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios, take your image to the next level. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, Deezer, Stitcher, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful lady from New York City. She's an actress, comedian, on-camera host, and model. She's also got a book on Amazon called She's the Last Model Standing. And yes, I don't know if she is the last model standing, but she makes her statement as well, too. She's also been and done Whispers and Witnesses, Fragile Beauty, A Visual Journey, Model with a Mission, and she just has a lot of things going on. She's been described as a Kathy Griffin of fashion. So live, ladies and gentlemen, from beautiful New York City, inside the Big Apple, where the last model standing is Wendy Stuart Kaplan. Wendy, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel like I'm right in your state right now. Like I left the Big Apple, and I'm right there next to you. Isn't that great?
Oh, it's lovely, too. Yes, it's like, we can be across a pond and feel like neighbors. That's what the internet and social media is all about. Thank God. So,
right? Like I'm in your studio and you're in my living room, and here we are. Nice to meet you.
And you, too. Thank you very much. So you've been an actress, comedian, on-camera host, and model for quite some time. You're from New York City. You've got a new book called She's the Last Model Standing, available on Amazon. You've also got Whispers and Witnesses, Fragile Beauty, A Visual Journey, Model with a Mission, and you're described as the Kathy Griffin of fashion. And, of course, you've got some great stories and, a lot of experience and everything. But first, before we get into all that, tell us how I got started.
I got started by coming to New York after college, right? Went to every model agency and got turned down, okay? But I persevered because from the time I was a little kid, I knew I wanted to be a model. I remember saying to my mother two things. I was going to be a model in New York, a fashion model, and I wanted to go to Africa. So what's so cool about all of this, if you went through my book, right? Come to New York, get started in modeling, and I've been modeling for 40 years and I'm still going strong. That's why I decided to write a book called She's the Last Model Standing. But I like to tell people it really is a metaphor because it's a book of inspiration. It shows that no matter what happens in your life, you're still standing. And in my case, I am the last model standing.
That is amazing, too. And, of course, you worked with a number of models as well, too. Maybe you can just share some stories on some of the models you have worked with and did the runway and on camera, everything else. Maybe some of the models you worked with, maybe some interesting stories.
Well, I've really, really done it all. What's interesting about a lot of the top models that you would have known from years ago, Cheryl Tiegs, Linda Tanjay, a lot of them started at the same time I did. I'm still doing it. Can you believe it?
That's amazing.
I know, and I never expected that things would turn out that way. You know, when you have your life plan, like I'm sure you have a life plan, right? How things are going to go. I never thought I'd turn around and, be busier than ever, be represented by an agency that would have never taken me before. So my story is one of really perseverance. It's of having a dream and never letting your dream die and never letting anyone tell you no. I remember one of the biggest agencies, I think it was Ford Models, looked at me when I came in there. They said two things. They said, "Where's your mother?" I was 15 years old, okay? By myself. How's that for guts, right? And I remember having mascara on my lashes, like a quarter of an inch thick, real.
Oh, my.
Oh, I thought I looked beautiful, right? They said to me, "Where's your mother?" And she looked at the pictures that I had, the few pictures, and she said, "I'm sorry, dear, the angles in your face don't match the angles in your body." Now, what the heck does that mean? Certainly when you're a 15-year-old kid, you're thinking, okay, my head should be on someone else's body. Maybe that's what they're saying. But you know what, Mike? I just refused to stop. And it's my personality. I won't take no for an answer. I'm a very determined person. Anything I wanted to do in my life, I've done. And, when you think I've been doing modeling all this time and along the way started doing acting, right? Been in films, did stand-up comedy. Let me tell you something. How dedicated was I to stand-up? I was 9 months pregnant. And
wow.
Yeah. And
you delivered. I thought to myself, this baby is going to be born in a comedy club. Is this something that we want? How will it affect her later on in life? But that's the kind of commitment that I have, I just make up my mind I'm going to do something and I get out there and do it. That's amazing, too. And I can imagine up on stage and you're like, like that. And all of a sudden it's like she comes out. Oh, she was born laughing.
Yeah, right. I love it. But that was a book, I think, by Joan Rivers, Enter Laughing. I think it was.
Enter Laughing. That's a good one.
Enter Laughing. You like that. So I really have run the gamut of just about everything. And in the last, I want to say 10 years, started doing these documentary films that I host. And I tell stories that nobody else is telling. Remember I told you, like early on in the game, I knew I wanted to go to Africa. Mm-hmm. Well, when I was 21, I got into a college program and I went to Nigeria to live with the Yoruba people and study Shango, the god of thunder. Do you know anything about traditional religions?
I have studied those in my college days, but what you had presented about with the god of thunder, and I'm probably having a little trouble with some African names. I think my tongue is literally tired right now trying to do that. And of course, that's why I've got something to drink, a little bit of coffee. And you just tell us all about the god of thunder. So
Shango was the god of thunder, and I thought it would be an interesting subject to work towards my master's on. And I went and lived with the Yoruba people who believe that he is terribly powerful, right? Can make a huge difference in their lives in so many ways. If somebody is sick and they take in the spirit of Shango, they'll get better. So I found that completely fascinating, that a person's personal belief could change their life. And you find that, of course, with traditional religions. They believe in deities and the power of those. So there I was, 21 years old, living in Nigeria in a village called Ife, with blonde hair down to my waist, going to rituals and all kinds of things that had to do with African deities. People were amazing to me there. It was like I was just treated unbelievable. And anytime I met somebody, they would want me to meet their grandfather and their aunt and their uncle. And it's African custom that you never say, oh, I can't do that. You say, yes, I would love to come for dinner. So I hitchhiked around the country. All right, not a care in the world, never thought about anything happening to me. Ended up in Kano, which is the northern part, and that's where the Boko Haram are. But in those days, they didn't call them that. They had a different name, but they were still just as dangerous. And I remember one day I was in town trying to change money on the black market, right? I just became like a local person there. If I needed money, I would change my American dollars on the black market. They loved American dollars. And all of a sudden, these guys come riding into town and their faces are completely covered in like black gauze. And all you could see were their eyes. And they had long sabers on their horses. And I asked somebody that spoke English there, I'm like, who are they? And at the time, they weren't called the Boko Haram, but that's who they were. And I had no idea that I was in danger up there. I never thought anything could happen to me. Listen, when you're 21, right, what can happen to you? Think about what you were like when you were 21.
Mm-hmm. I can imagine as well, too. Of course, I lived a normal life as well, too. 21, hey, get a free drink and everything else. But your story is just fascinating as well, too. We'll talk more about Africa and some of your ventures as well, too. But first, to listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention The Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take The Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to The Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow The Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here at actress, comedian, on-camera host, and model, and world traveler, Wendy Stuart Kaplan from New York City. She's the author of the book, She's the Last Model Standing, available on Amazon. She's also done Whispers and Witnesses, Fragile Beauty, A Visual Journey, Model with a Mission, and more. And of course, you've been on a mission in Africa as well, too. And of course, I was going to ask you, too, how long did you stay in Africa, and where are some of the other parts of the countries in Africa you went to?
So I'm so glad you asked me that question. So, in my 20s, right, I was in Nigeria, and then I came to New York. I started modeling, but it was always in the back of my head, Mike, that I wanted to go out there again. I just knew I have the heart and soul of an explorer. I knew I wanted to go there and do something. So I want to say 12 years ago, I had this idea to do this show called Model with a Mission, go to different parts of the world to tell stories that nobody else was telling. And one of the first places I went, it wasn't Africa, it was Costa Rica, because it was a little closer, right? And it wasn't so much jumping off with both feet off of the dock and landing in the water and trying to tread. And my daughter at the time was 8 years old. So I thought, okay, this is how I'm going to start my thing again. So I go to Costa Rica, and I'm in a beautiful place in Corcovado National Park. Have you ever been there?
No, I haven't, but let's hear more about it. I'd love to visit one day.
Oh, you would love it. It's filled with all kinds of really great animals, anteaters.
Wow.
And, 4 different kinds of monkeys, spider monkeys, squirrel monkeys. So I'm there, and somebody said to me, have you met Augusto? And I'm like, who is he? They said, well, he's the local traditional doctor. So I thought, you know what? This is going to be my first short film. And we were able to connect with this gentleman. And what I'm going to tell you is a true story. His name was Augusto, and he took us for a walk in the forest. Now, I had taken a walk in the forest and didn't see any animals. I walked in the forest with him, and all of a sudden, hawks started to land on trees. Birds started coming out of everywhere. Mammals started coming out of the forest. It was amazing, and he didn't do anything. Okay, he was a very, very powerful traditional doctor. So he came back to our hotel with us, and he asked if there was anything that we might need help with medicine. And my husband had like a foot fungus, right? And most people take Lamisil or things like that for a foot fungus. It never goes away. It's very hard to
over the counter, right?
Right. He said, he looked at my husband's toe, and he said, okay, he said, meet me here tomorrow morning. I'll bring something and I'll get rid of it. So I thought, okay. So we come to breakfast the next morning, and he shows up with something really vile in a vial. I had no idea what it was. It was brown and icky looking. And he had my husband take his sock off, and he takes out a knife. He numbs my husband's foot with some kind of antiseptic, makes a little slice, pours the gunky stuff on it, right? You got the picture? Am I giving you a good visual?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I'm imagining. This is radio, which is good. So
wraps his foot up and says to me, okay, the fungus is cured. I go, well, what do you mean it's cured? You just poured this stuff on it? And he said, no, you'll take the bandaging off the next day and it'll be cured. And I thought, okay, right, I have nothing to lose. Next day, we take the bandage off. My husband still had the fungus there. And I thought, okay, you know what? You live and you learn. We tried. 1 month later, we get we're back in New York. And I said to Alan, listen, we should go to the doctor, get ourselves checked out. We've been in the jungle. By the way, how's your foot? The toenail had fallen off and a new toenail had grown in, and he never had a foot fungus again. True story. Even our internist couldn't believe it. So that was my first trip. Out of the box, we filmed it, and I thought, okay, this is what I need to get going now. And I think I told you, Africa has always been my heart. I can't even tell you why, but I knew I had to get back there. So we decided to go make a film there that we called Fragile Beauty, which was about 3 very remote tribes in Ethiopia in the southern Omo Valley. Mm-hmm. And initially, when I went there, I was going to be about how they had been living the same way for hundreds of years, how their dress had never changed. Because keep in mind, these are people that are very elaborately adorned. Every day, they have elaborate painting on their face. They use knives to scar themselves. It's considered beauty there. And even the clothing that they wear, you and I were talking earlier about, people that hunt animals for a trophy. These people don't do that. The animals that they hunt, they eat. And then they take the skin, and the skin is made into an item of clothing. So this is something that works for them. So that's how they look. They don't have or wear modern clothing. And their currency is cows or sheep, or it can be a goat.
Cows, sheep, goats. I can imagine that on the New York Stock Exchange. Hi, I like to buy some IBM stock for a few cows, or maybe I can throw some chickens in for some IBM stock. I can imagine that.
And Mike, can you imagine? Maybe that's where bull market came from, right?
Bull market.
Right? That kind of makes sense to me, right? So I wanted to
bingo.
Just wanted to go there and tell their story. But what the story I ended up telling was a very different one than the one I had wanted to tell. Because I got there and all the people were armed. They all had AK-47s because, like in so many parts of the world, land is being developed and the people were being relocated next to other tribes that they didn't get along with. So there was cattle stealing. They also were very hostile to the government. Of course, it was relocating them. So they were fully armed with AK-47s, and that was something I was not expecting. But I am a person that will always make lemonade out of lemons, and I knew I wanted to do a story about them. And we ended up telling about their way of life, their way of dressing, the rituals they carried on. But the most poignant part of that film was while we're shooting, a local man comes over, and he was part of the Kara tribe, and he asked my translator if we had any malaria pills. And I said, oh, yeah, tell him I can give him some malaria pills. And my guide said to me, no, you don't want to do that. You're taking them for yourself. The man's daughter had malaria, Mike.
Oh, my.
He had no money to pay for malaria drugs. He only had a cow, and they wouldn't take a cow at the clinic. I mean, this is incredible, right? That was 2018. We're in 2018, and you can't get malaria drugs. So we ended up convincing him to come to the clinic with us, and it took a lot of convincing. I had to tell him that it would be a gift I am giving to him to let me buy the malaria drugs. And
wow.
Right. Now, this is a man who loved his daughter, but his daughter would have died. And so you have to wonder how many children, right, in this day and age are still dying of malaria. It's prevalent all over the world, and children are dying and they don't have to. So we got there. I paid $10 for the malaria medicine. They started the treatment. And the little girl, she lived. Okay. So that was, when you shoot these kinds of films, Mike, you don't expect certain things to happen, which is why I like to work unscripted. I like to let the story unfold before me. I think that that's important.
Mm-hmm. And of course, getting back to health as well, too, I was going to ask you about your husband's fungus and how it got cured. What was in the mixture of the mixture in the vial that helped with the fungus medicine and make it make it go away? I'm actually interested.
You had to go there, didn't you? Okay, I want you to take a guess. Okay, if you were going to treat a fungus, I'm going to give you a clue. If you were going to fight fire with fire, what would you put in that vial?
Fight fire with fire.
If you were going to get rid of something that was a fungus, what would you fight it with?
Oh, you got me on that one.
Okay, I got you on that one. You're going to fight it with something else that had a lot of bacteria and fungus in it, which is cow dung.
Oh, my goodness.
Right from the cow feed.
Oh,
yeah,
my.
I know. Yeah, that's why I told you had to go there. Well, okay, but we're on radio, so we don't really have the visual, but I use your imagination.
Boy, holy cow takes on a different meaning.
It does, right? But you see, you have to, I'm a very trusting person, and I totally believed what this man was going to do, and I just let it happen. Sometimes you learn it when you're dealing with remote cultures. Don't ask too many questions. Just let them do what they know how to do the best, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was cow dung. Are you impressed? I'm impressed.
And I thought that only occurred like in fertilizer and cow chip bingo at state fairs. I guess I have to find a way to get fungus on my toe and go to the state fair and ask to stick my foot into cow dung and try to get rid of fungus. I'll try that this summer.
You know what? Maybe it'll work, and you can get on your show and broadcast it to people, and I bet you'll have some big followers.
I think that'd be a really interesting idea. So we'll talk more about your ventures with Africa and also Whispers and Witnesses and also the rest of your fantastic career. You listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking our budget, and cow dung. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs at below the competition way without a cow. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960, or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, and more. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also, follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with actress, comedian, on-camera host, and model Wendy Stuart Kaplan. She's the author of She's the Last Mile Standing. We talked about a good portion of the book, along with a Model with a Mission, Fragile Beauty, A Visual Journey, and some interesting journeys through Africa as well, too. You've been through Ethiopia and
Cameroon.
Yes, that's right. And of course, continue on with another part of Africa, especially Ethiopia. And where else did you go on your journey in Africa?
So I ended up going to Cameroon. This is a great story. So I became a member of the Explorers Club in New York. But the Explorers Club is really all over the world. There's 3,400 people that are members, right, approximately. And it's for people that want to push the boundaries of land, sea, air, and space, okay, through scientific investigation or, in my case, film, right? So I became a member, and I was at the Explorers Club when I met two women that were rescuing primates in Cameroon. And what exactly is that? Why are the people rescuing them from what? We all know what's going on with poaching in the world, right? Mm-hmm. Know about elephants and rhinos. Well, and gorillas, right? Did you see Gorillas in the Mist, the film?
I have seen portions of it, too, and I'm aware about the poaching situation. I have to say this, is that all this poaching is really causing a decline in the elephant population, and they're having hard times trying to reproduce.
Exactly. So you know your stuff. So I had heard that these two women were rescuing primates, which were gorillas and chimpanzees in Cameroon. And I heard them speak, and I said to my husband, that would really make a great film. All right. So I come home that night and I call United Airlines. I had a bunch of frequent flyer miles, and I said, I want to go to Cameroon over Christmas for 10 days. And do you have any seats available? Now, you know what that's like, trying to use miles over Christmas to go anywhere. Well, I should have known something was up when they had 2 seats available to go to Cameroon.
Oh, my.
No problem. And not even a ton of miles. So I wrote to both the women, and I had to they got a letter from the government for me. I mean, I know they thought I was crazy because I said, hey, I heard you speak. I want to do a film about you. And they were like, well, why do you want to do a film about us? I'm sure that they've had the BBC and a lot of very famous film companies come there. I said, because I'm a person that raises awareness through the empathy of my films that I shoot with my husband. Mm-hmm. So we end up going to Cameroon. And before I left, I had to get, the typical, right, malaria pills, the shots. We arrive in Cameroon, and there to meet us at the airport. You know how when you come to a country or anywhere, there's someone with your name on a sign?
Yeah, I'd seen those before.
Yeah, well, the sign was there. It was upside down. And it was held by the most gorgeous soldier you've ever seen with a huge gun. He had to be 6'4", and he said, "Are you Mrs. Kaplan?" I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Oh, my name is Kennedy. My English not so good." And I looked at my husband and I said, "Tell Kennedy he doesn't even need to speak. I just stand here and enjoy the view." He was just so handsome, so polite. And that was my experience with the people in Cameroon. I mean, anytime we had to go anywhere, it's not like when you go to a country where they have tourism. When they don't have tourism, you have to rely on the local soldiers. And they were really amazing. So we went and did a film about these women in these rescue centers, 10 hours apart. The first one that we went to, they had chimpanzees, they had gorillas, they had other kinds of monkeys there as well. But all of these primates had one thing in common. Their mothers were killed and they were left to die in the forest.
Oh, my goodness.
Right. It's terrible because keep in mind, the poachers, they want the mother. Why do they want the mother? For the medicinal purposes of what it is believed that the animal can offer. And, in China, there's all kinds of medicines that make men more virile, medicines for this, medicines that shrink tumors. And that's why they're killing elephants. That's why they're killing rhino, right? I know you know this about the horn. They grind it down and they make it into a medicine. But we know that that is not a medicine at all, that the animal is being killed for no reason. So I wanted to make a film about this to let people know that not only was this going on, but that there's people out there trying to do something about it. Because of these rescue centers, Mike, now these baby gorillas and chimpanzees are now growing up and being allowed to live their life. They are living in protected areas. Sometimes they are in 4-acre enclosures. That's huge. That's a lot of room. They can never be just taken anywhere and released because the same thing will happen again. That's what's going on in a lot of the African parks, right? Where the animals run free. They find bunches of them gunned down.
Oh, that is so sad.
Yeah.
I mean, we went to some parks as well, too. We let animals run free, and you could also go like on a guide. Of course, you can't roll down a window, stick a hand out, and try to pet. They'll probably just chomp you, bite your head off, or ram your car or anything like that.
Yeah. Where did you go? Tell me where you went.
Well, we went to Medora. We had, of course, you got to see the bison up close. So, of course, you can't pet them or try to feed them. They'll probably just, trample your car and just you end up being like, human food or whatever it is.
Right.
You
can look at them at least.
Right. Look at them. And of course, we also went to a park where it's like you can actually look at some black bears up close. And there was also, I think this is in South Dakota around the Black Hills. And I'm trying to remember what else. I've got pictures of it. And I think there's like, a rare form of deer. And I think there's also, I'm trying to think whatever else. But it's like, bears just running free around the around the Black Hills area just to go through a little just a path and everything else. I mean, it was just amazing.
But isn't it amazing to see them in their natural habitat? That's what it's like in Africa. When you see these animals in their natural habitat, you say to yourself, this is how they have to be. This is what you want. Unfortunately, with the way things are in the world right now, it's just not so safe for them. Mm-hmm. But, we made a film about it. And, oh, my gosh, my husband got 6 feet away from a gorilla.
Whoa.
Now, for me, that gorilla started pounding his chest, and the guy that we had with us said, okay, you need to step back. I'm like, why doesn't the gorilla like me? And we all came to the conclusion because I'm blonde. Because I was blonde. My husband wears like a black cap and he's got his camera equipment and everything. I guess to the gorilla, he looked like another gorilla.
Oh, that's too funny. Oh, great case of monkeying around, I'll tell you that.
We were monkeying around there, weren't we? That was a bad monkey joke, Michael.
Oh, my goodness. That's just too hilarious. I was going to ask you about, the animals, like with the killings and everything else. Now, what animals out in Africa or where you've been at, what animals are on the verge of extinction? Because there's been some big stories about that. You have certain Bengal tigers, and I think you had, certain panthers and, other forms that are on the verge of extinction.
That are in some of the parks. I've been to India. They're very hard to see, the tigers. They're very elusive. They're few and far between. Okay, they're hard to see because there's not that many left. The one-horned rhino in Kaziranga National Park in India, I went to do a movie about that. Those rhino are very protected. They have rangers that give up 5 years of their life to work in those parks, all right?
Wow.
So you still see the one-horned rhino there, but when you go to Africa, so much of the rhino population is being decimated. I mean, poaching has become so huge, Mike, that they come with Black Hawk helicopters, all right, and shoot entire herds. You've heard of the herds of elephants and the rhinos just being gunned down like that. So we have to say to ourselves, what is the answer? And I can tell you there is an answer. Believe it or not, there is an answer. You have to make it unattractive to the local people. How do you do that? Offer them jobs doing something else. And in parts of Africa where it is becoming successful to let the animals live, they're creating jobs in other areas. In Virunga National Park, Emmanuel, who is running the park, he opened up a hydroelectric plant there, creating 250 jobs for the
Wow, nice.
Right. That's really great. Unfortunately, it's in a part of the world where there's so much fighting and so many other things. However, you have to say to yourself, 250 jobs, that's 250 people that are not going to be poaching. Mm-hmm. So you have to believe that there is something we can do about this.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, hire some security guards as well, too. So none of that happens as well, too. Somebody comes in and tries to blow up a power plant or steal or whatever else.
Guards.
Right. Protective services there, too. There's plenty of opportunities. And, of course, just another thing as well, too. It's like, how can we help with the animal situation?
Well, all of us here, there are really great organizations that you can donate to that are doing extraordinary work all over the world. And even, I tell people a $10 donation, it really makes a difference, a $5 donation. But here's one of the coolest things that I can tell the people out there. You can go online and you can Google volunteering in an African park. Just Google it. And parks will come up that are looking to hire volunteers. You can go to a park for a month even and become a volunteer there. They will train you in helping take care of the animals that have lost their mothers. They can train you in helping with releasing animals back into the jungle. So how cool is that, Mike? You have hands-on experience doing that. I took care of elephants in Asia, in Thailand. Did you know that, me? That I'm an elephant whisperer? Did anyone?
Really?
I did. I took care of elephants. Oh my gosh, it was so great. The place was called Elephant Stay, and you go as a volunteer, and you get your own elephant for a week. And you learn everything you've always wanted to know about taking care of an elephant, but were afraid to ask.
Oh, my goodness.
So amazing. We would walk to the river with the elephants every day. And elephants get very dry in the sun and they get mud on them. Their favorite thing was to go into the river and dunk down into the river. It was just a really beautiful experience. I had the best time doing that. They do a lot, too.
And I'm sure riding one as well, too, had to be an experience as well, too. So.
Well, you know what? A lot of the parks, they try and discourage people from doing that. The particular one I was in, you were allowed to do that. But again, you didn't use a hook or anything. You learned how to sit on the back of an elephant, no saddle or anything. You kind of lean forward and you learn a command that gets them going. I'm going to say it for you. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Hoa!
Hoa!
Boy, there you did it. That means go forward. That means walk. How cool is that?
And then what about stop?
You know what? I was never quite mastered that. Let's just say the elephant was taking me around. I wasn't really guiding the elephant. That's exactly my forte. But you know what? I loved every minute of it. For me, anytime I'm really close to an animal, I've been on camel safari, which is really, really cool. I bet you didn't know camels can gallop. They can gallop. You sit right in that hump, right? And you hang on for dear life, but it's a real bumpy ride. A horse is much smoother. And camels they're not really so nice either. We would bring our camels in at the end of the day and they'd get food and water and everything. And, they look so sweet, right? Their mouth. Have you ever been to like a petting zoo and talked to a camel?
Mike, I take my kids to one. I've been to one in Wisconsin and places we live. We always take our kids to a petting zoo and, give them the experience. Yes.
Right. So, in petting zoos, camels are really nice. As a matter of fact, I kissed a camel in a petting zoo. I did. I'm here to tell you that I did that.
Oh, nice.
It was nice. And his mouth was all mushy. But when you see camels in India, when they're, working camels, there's no kissing going on whatsoever. You don't want to get close because they're not nice at all. And they will spit at you. And they make a really crazy sound, too. It's like a growl deep in their voice. And it says, "Get away from me. I don't like you."
Oh, really? Okay. I guess not a good time to smoke a camel.
I've never had smoked camel. I would imagine it's not bad on the barbecue. That was terrible. About what you said. That was just awful.
Well, of course, attempted comedy as well, too. And speaking of comedy, of course, you've been up on the stage as well, too. Maybe you've been up there 9 months pregnant and everything like that has me accomplishment. And what are some of your ventures you've done as well, too? And also what's coming up on the comedy circuit for you?
So on the comedy circuit, I do a lot of charity work, and I'm working with an organization I helped start in Pennsylvania. I go there on the weekends, but we service the tri-state area. It's called Triversity, and we have a talent show coming up called Triversity's Got Talent, and we will be raising money. We're a non-for-profit, but we're raising money for another non-for-profit for our ecumenical food pantry. Getting food nowadays has become challenging.
Oh, yes.
People. It's a real problem. So we have a wonderful food pantry there. We'll raise money through our talent show. And I think we've got 12 acts, and I'll be one of the hosts. There's 2 other hosts besides me. But one of the most exciting things I'm going to be doing an opening singing number with our executive director, and we're going to be Sonny and Cher. And
nice.
We're doing that song, "I've Got You, Babe." So I'm going to be Cher. I'm really excited. I have a Cher wig. Today, designer I work with, Sue's GX, dropped off a Cher dress for me. Yeah, so you know what? I'm going to send you a picture of me as Cher. People tell me sometimes I look like Cher because I have almond-shaped eyes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well, too. And, of course, I'll be singing that song to my wife as well, too. So looking forward to that.
Can you sing? Are you a good singer?
I only sing in the shower and sing to myself. Otherwise, I probably drive people away. I'm kidding.
I bet you have a good voice.
Well, if I work at it, but of course this is what I love doing, and if I sang, I probably lose a lot of people too.
So lose a lot of your listeners. They'd be like, "Okay, next." Yes, I'm very excited about doing the show, and it's just I love doing fundraisers for people. It's a great way to use your stand-up comedy talents.
And that's amazing too. And besides the missions you've been on, what are your upcoming plans for 2020?
So right now I'm actually working on a film called Working Dogs, and that film I want to have done and edited. It's called Working Dogs, a love story. We call it that because it's about the human-animal bond and the animal-human bond, and in this case, it's dogs, right? Where you've been out, you see seeing eye dogs. You hear about veterans needing dogs for PTSD. We hear all the time in the airport a bomb-sniffing dog. We hear if there's an earthquake in some part of the world, a cadaver dog. All right, what does all this mean? I wanted to tell the story about these incredible, right? They're partners. They're our canine partners. Listen, I went out with a police officer who had trained a bloodhound. This bloodhound went to look for people that wander off. Who could that be? An elderly person with Alzheimer's. Can you imagine if, like, your parent wanders off and you can call the police and someone comes from the canine patrol and that bloodhound finds your parent? Okay, or someone threatening to commit suicide that goes off, the dog tracks them down and finds them. I interviewed a journalist that has epilepsy. The dog reminds him when he has a seizure coming on to take the medicine.
Oh, so, wow.
Wow, right? You're like impressed. How about, a seeing eye dog that can actually count the steps with the person that's with him to go to the supermarket? Mm-hmm. It's incredible. And so this film is very important to me. I want to get the word out there about what dogs are doing. I spent 2 Saturdays ago at the library with a dog. And you know what that dog was doing there? The kids were reading to the dog. Great way for a kid, right, that's shy in the classroom and doesn't want to read out loud, doesn't mind reading to the dog. Okay, the dog doesn't make any judgments. The dog just sits there unconditionally, right, and listens. Do you have a dog?
We did at one point, but we're talking about getting one in the process because we had one for about 12 years, a Shih Tzu, and the dog was named after one of the running backs for the Minnesota Vikings, Chester Taylor. Got it from well-known Bismarck auto dealer, lived 12 years, and, really cute, really dedicated. Aww. And, of course, we're in old age and everything else couldn't go back. 12 years
is the lifespan for that breed, by the way. I think you probably know that.
It does, yeah. And, of course, my wife is in search of a Cocker Spaniel. We're looking for that. But, we've had cats in the household. But, unfortunately, due to health issues, we had to get rid of them. But yeah, it's like we're looking to get another dog. And we're doing some research right now. And what you guys just really interesting as well, too. So we'll take a lot of those into consideration.
Oh, my gosh. It's so amazing. I will tell you the breeds that are in our film mostly are Labrador retrievers, golden retrievers, German shepherds. But the dog that the kids got to read to, he was a Doberman. And that's really unusual because Doberman, you were right. Like you said, wow, you don't normally think of a Doberman that way. But I tell you, Eris was his name. He was so adorable. But after 45 minutes, he was done with the kids reading to him. And he turned around to his mother, his trainer, and said to her, he was arguing. And she answered him in German. I'm like, you talk German to the dog. She said, well, yeah. She said, I'm German, so I figured I would. And he was a European breed of Doberman. There's 2 kinds, American and European. He came from Germany. So she spoke to him in German. Can you believe that? And the dog understood.
Wow, what's the difference between the American breed and the European breed?
The European breed, that is a good question. Most people would not know that. The European breed is considerably larger. The dog's head was huge, and he had a very, very long nose. And, the sniffer part of the nose, it looked like someone had taken like a black clown nose and stuck it on there. It was huge.
Oh, my.
He was so handsome. And then his feet, the other difference, the feet were huge, and the size of the pads, when you look at the bottom of a dog's foot, they have that padding there. The pads were enormous.
Wow.
He was really something, But to do this kind of film for me is very, very gratifying. So that will be done this year. We'll finish that film, and I will let you know when it's done. We enter our films into film festivals, and through raising awareness, I've been working on having You Asked Me About Model with a Mission. That's been the working title of a show that I definitely want to have. It's a little bit Anthony Bourdain-ish. And it's a little bit Wendy Stuart Kaplan-ish. It's a combination of both. Going to remote parts of the world to tell stories. I do have my own sense of humor and way of looking at things because, and I know you can relate to this, I always believe a sense of humor is a great way to connect with people no matter where you are in the world.
And the best medicine as well, too. Yes. A cure for a lot of things.
Yes. Laughter is the best medicine.
That's true, too. And, of course, I was going to share a little story as well, too, about Patch Adams. I'm sure you heard about this, but Patch Adams wanted to start up a hospital and didn't believe in medicine. He used laughter, put on a clown act, and told jokes and entertained kids. And it showed that the kids healed much faster than it did with the actual medicine.
Yes, absolutely. And it is the power of how those things affect the mind, right? We spend so little time thinking about that, right? We have medicines for everything, but I so believe in the power of the mind to affect the body.
Mm-hmm. And that's true, too, especially when you have to deal with foot fungus from cow dung.
Oh, you had to bring up the cow dung again, didn't you? I am never going to live this down. I will be the guest who came on your show and talked about cow dung. But maybe it'll make people look at cow dung in a different way, you know?
Well, of course, with natural medicines out there, so you got to try something. So, yeah.
There you go. Absolutely.
That's a good thing, too. And, of course, we're here with Wendy Stuart Kaplan, actress, comedian, on-camera host, and model here on the Mike Wagner Show. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. And, just keep us up to date. And just a couple of things. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Oh, God. Believe it or not, my husband has been the wind beneath my wings the whole time. Anytime I thought that's like, why am I doing this? He's like, you can do it. You need to do it. You need to get your message out there. You have the talent. So when you have a partner that's your driving force, you can do anything.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. What's the best advice you can give to anybody at this point?
At this point, there's a lot going on in the world that discourage people. You can listen to the news, but I wouldn't put it on like for hours the way some people do. There's so much great things going on in the world. You have the internet at your fingertips. You can pull up articles about positive things, read about the great things in the world. Just like you brought up now, Patch Adams, there are various forms of people doing those kinds of things. It's easy enough to find. Get out there, and that's what you want to know about. I got to tell you, my personal thing, I'm on Facebook. I watch a lot of those animal videos. They make me laugh. They make me smile. They make me have a good day.
That is too, and of course, basically you had a lot of influences in your career. It's like, who are some of your favorite actors and comedians and writers growing up as well too that shape who you are today? Oh,
well, of course, I love Meryl Streep. I think that she's amazing. She's a classically trained actress. In terms of writers, Carson McCullers, Heart is a Lonely Hunter. I think I must have memorized that book. There was something about that book that absolutely spoke to me. And I just, believe it or not, I loved Rodney Dangerfield. I can't get no respect. I love, right? I mean, how many times do we find ourselves quoting what he said? I can't get no respect.
Even sometimes I get no respect. I have to say that.
Oh.
And of course, quoting Rodney Dangerfield, and I apply this all the time, me being a sports fan, a hockey fan, that I went to a boxing match in Chicago and a hockey game broke out.
Oh, you are a funny guy.
Funny guy, yeah.
You are a funny guy. Don't quit your day job.
I don't intend to. This is what I love here.
This is your passion, right? You're on fire.
That's right. Once again, Wendy Stuart Kaplan, actress, comedian, on-camera host, and model. Also author of She's the Last Model Standing.
Available on Amazon.
That's right. Also has Whispers and Witnesses, Fragile Beauty, Visual Journey, Model with a Mission. Big thank you for your time. Love to have you back on again soon, talking about animal stories and more. And once again, tell us about your upcoming projects, your website. How do people contact you, and where can people purchase your books?
Okay, here's the 411 on Wendy Stuart. People can purchase my book, She's the Last Model Standing, on Amazon. People can go to my website, I always love to give the W's, www.wendystuarttv.com, to learn a lot more about me. I've got tons of interesting things on there. People can go to my social media. On Instagram, it's She's the Last Model Standing. On Facebook, it's Wendy Stuart, Stuart, and they can learn more about my films on Visual Journeys, Our Stories on Facebook.
That is fantastic. Wendy, just want to say a big thank you for your time. Looking forward to having you again soon.
To you. Thank you so much for having me. You're terrific.
And no problem. And do us a favor, keep us up to date. We love to hear more animal stories from you. You've been fantastic.
Thank you so much. And you take care, and you have a beautiful evening.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.